the MPC voted unanimously to keep the policy rate unchanged. It, however, decided to continue with the accommodative stance as long as it is necessary to revive growth while ensuring that inflation remains within the target. I express my gratitude to the MPC members for the insightful deliberations and assessment which went into the policy decision and are captured in the resolution which has just been uploaded in the RBI website. I also want to thank our teams in the Reserve Bank for their continued and high quality support to the MPC's deliberations with their hard work, research and logistics. At the outset, I shall briefly explain the main considerations underlying the MPC's decision. The MPC noted that since its meeting in October 2019, global economic activity has remained subdued, though some signs of resilience are becoming visible. Growth has shown signs of picking up in some advanced economies and emerging market economies. Crude oil prices have moved in a narrow range in both directions, reflecting the constantly changing sentiments relating to progress in the US-China trade talks. Inflation has generally remained benign in major advanced economies and emerging market economies in Q3 of 2019. Global financial markets were buoyed in October by risk-on sentiment stemming from renewed optimism on trade truce between US and China and possibility of a Brexit deal. However, selling pressure took hold in the second half of November on renewed fears of US-China trade talks getting stalled on the Hong Kong standoff. While US dollar weakened against other major currencies, EME currencies have traded with an appreciating bias. Turning to domestic developments, real GDP growth moderated to 4.5% year-on-year in Q2 1920, extending the sequential deceleration to the sixth consecutive quarter. The slowdown in GDP growth was cushioned by a jump in government final consumption expenditure. On the supply side, gross value added GVA growth decelerated to 4.3% in Q2 1920, pulled down by contraction in manufacturing. Growth in the services sector moderated, but agricultural GVA growth increased marginally. Beyond Q2, there are several positive developments which could turn out to be green shoots, depending on how they evolve. Real GDP growth for 1920 is revised downwards from 6.1% in the October policy to 5%, that is 4.9 to 5.5% in H2 and 5.9 to 6.3% for H1 of 2021.